Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the National Phong Association Draft 2015. My name is Brian.
And my name is Brian's cousin. This is where struggling nuns have the opportunity to gain ground against their rivals.
And there is plenty of talent in this draft pool to give hope to the doormat nuns of Phong.
Indeed, there's always hope in the draft. Will HIP and Thieu get the need they help to compete against Powerhouse O and Nia?
The draft starts in 10 minutes, but first let's take a look back at developments over the past summer.
The draft class consists of Christopher Nguyen, Christopher Chin, Christopher Olivia, and Christopher Monica.
And now for some in-depth analysis of the draft class. If you look to the right, you'll see Christopher Nguyen is the most athletic member of this draft class. Whereas everyone else jumps straight up, he manages to jump 45 degrees to his right. And if you look at Christopher Olivia and Christopher Monica, the way that they are in unison suggests that they are really good team workers. On the other hand, Christopher Trin, all the way by himself on the left, doesn't really like his teammates, and his post suggests, hey, look at me. Whereas Christopher Nguyen is giving all the credit to his teammates by pointing to them with both his fingers.
So who do you think is the premier talent in this draft?
Most definitely Christopher. But before we get into this year's draft class, let's go over the needs of the nuns in Napa.
The first pick of the draft goes to Lowly Hipsy. They've had only one win last year.
Did you know on one Sunday, Brian actually played Settlers of Catan instead of preparing lessons?
That is not a winning formula.
No, sir, but he'll be getting help big time.
That's right, Brian. In addition to getting the number one pick, they'll be gaining rising Napa star Hua.
That was the controversy of the summer. Let's take a look back at how Thieu lost their superstar during free agency.
Mr. General Manager, my contract is over and I'm looking for a raise. I deserve a raise, you know. I want double my salary.
Look, man, you can't afford it. Can't you stay if I do you some favors?
No way! I can do my own favors. Thank you very much.
All right, I can only offer you 30% raise.
80%,
40,
70%,
90,
20%,
95.
15%.
Ah! This isn't going to work. Get out of here.
I want 100%.
Welcome, Mr. Chu. Thank you for listening to Hip's pitch. Now let's get down to business.
I want 100% salary increase.
Oh, that's tough. Let's try this approach, okay? I need to save $0 to stay under the $0 salary cap. I'll give you a 50% increase, and instead, I'll also give you 10% equity in Napa. As you know, I am also the commissioner of Napa.
Isn't that a collusion?
Maybe. It's also tons of work. Maybe you would like to be commissioner next year.
Yeah, right. I'm not gonna be suckered into that job.
Okay, let's talk stardom for you. In addition to giving you equity, I will hand over the reins of Hipsy to you. You can be the big shot you always wanted to be.
I can be Mr. Manager?
No, just manager. Do we have a deal?
We have a deal!
Have a deal!
Well, that explains how Ngan Hip took Hua from Ngan Thieu. They are the premier stars of the league present day. Can you imagine having two Gappa Quinjungs on the same team?
Well, it's a team game. All 5 positions matter. A dynamic duo isn't enough to win consistently. You're risking fatigue and burnout.
Indeed, but they will get some help. Do you have any predictions on who they will draft with in the first pick?
My sources say that they will draft Christopher Nguyen. He wants to be in Ngan, and he's got good experience. He's a redshirt rookie, spending an entire season on the bench after failing his drug test.
Drugs are bad.
Indeed. Let's go on to the second pick of the draft, which belongs to Thieu.
They weren't in as bad shape as Ngan Hip last season, but they definitely need help.
After losing Brian 3 years ago and losing Kwa this offseason, they will take all the raw talent they can acquire.
They still have Hall of Fame talent Yi, but she's had season-ending injuries the past few years with a torn Achilles tendon, a bad knee, and most recently a torn rotator cuff. Ngan Thieu is looking to limit her minutes this season and use her in a mentor role for her young teammates.
Luckily for Ngan Thieu, they can improve their lineup with Olivia Nguyen in the second pick.
My thoughts exactly. The silent secret weapon is a formidable asset.
And as for the third pick of the draft, we have a special guest, General Manager of Ngan, Mr. Jonathan Ngo. Welcome on the show, Mr. Ngo.
Oh, hey guys, great to be here tonight.
So, how would you rate your season last year?
You know, I think we did great, honestly. We were number 2. I think this year we're going to take number 1.
It's going to get harder with aging vets.
Yeah, Chilinchi bet. Hall of Famers. But you really got to develop the rookies to become champions. These Twin Tower sisters holding it down. You need that little extra push from the rookies, though.
So the question burning in everyone's mind is, who will you draft with the third pick?
Too soon, Junior. Anything can happen. We'll keep our options open for now. See how it goes.
That's a solid strategy. Thanks for stopping by. We wish you success in the draft.
Thank you.
And now we come to the king of the hill, Ngan O. They have the last pick because they need it the least. This team is unstoppable. Let's not forget the general manager, Madame Lisa Do. She is a force to be reckoned with. Let's get her on video chat. Hello, Miss Do.
Hey, who ate all the bread?
We're on.
Oh, we're number 1 and no one's gonna beat us.
Indeed, Yungan has been clearly dominant, with talent including the greatest of all time in Napa history, Purple Cup High Jingya. And you also have Rookie of the Year, Katrina LeBron James.
Hey, don't forget about me. I'm the boss.
How did you do it? You were repairing your leg fracture at the Santa Barbara Institute for years, and suddenly you return and win championships?
Haters are gonna hate.
I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me
of my energy.
That may be true, but how do you account for the upcoming changes in Yungan? Jingya is out of her prime, and Katrina James isn't fully developed yet. You are no doubt paying attention to Ngan Hip with 2 stars in their prime.
You're kidding me, right? They can have the number 1 pick. We're gonna be fine.
Okay, let's go to the game footage to see what each Ngan needs. As you can see, Tuni's opponents are very tough, and if you're not ready, you can fall to the floor like Andy just did right there. And even if you're playing in the correct position like John is, you might get an elbow to the rib right there. Offensive foul, but they're not going to call it. But to make up for your lack of physical, you can play finesse. Look at that inbounds pass right there, bounce pass to the wing, another bounce pass to the inside, boom, triangle offense. Of course, if the opponents are packing in the middle, you could always work your mid-range. There's the cut, outlet to the wing, another open jump shot. And if that doesn't work, you can always use your outside. Over to Tony, to open Andy, boom, 3-pointer. I've been informed that the draft has just begun. The clock starts for Ngan Hip with the number 1 pick.
This should be a no-brainer. It'll only be a few moments before Commissioner Brian comes out to announce widely hyped Christopher Nguyen.
And here he is now.
I have a trade to announce. Ngan Hip C has traded away the number 1 pick to Ngan Tunyi for Joseph Pham.
With the first pick in the 2015
NAPA
NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Karl Anthony Towns from the University of Kentucky.
What a shocker! We knew Chris Nguyen was going first, but not Ngan Hip. Why would Hip C do this?
We'll get GM Hua on the line as soon as we can, but I'm willing to bet it has something to do with free ice cream.
Not a bad reason at all. And now, Thieu is on the clock for the second pick of the draft.
Now with Chris Nguyen on the team, they may actually select Chris Trin because Olivia has a similar skill set to Chris Nguyen.
Let's find out.
All right, the clock has struck 0 on the Lakers. They have a top 5 pick for the first time since they took James Worthy in 1982. Adam Silver has the Lakers selection.
With the second pick in the 2015
NAPA
NBA Draft, the Los Angeles
Tunyi.
Lakers select
Christopher
D'Angelo
Trent.
Russell from The Ohio State University.
We'll return after a word from our sponsors.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not in the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. That my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for every single day of my life. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses.
Well, it looks like you were right, Brian's cousin. They rounded out their team with a great prospect. Although not as league ready as Olivia, Chris Trin is the younger brother of Katrina James. No doubt Thieu has high hopes for his developing poster board skills.
Nia is on the draft clock, but it looks like they've been busy. This just in, we've got confirmations of a trade between Nia and Thieu. Nia trades CC Ngo to Thieu for a PlayStation 4.
Nia gains a very educational tool in the PlayStation 4. John might use it every Sunday at Thieu. But what's there to gain from Thieu?
10% off Lee sandwiches?
That's it? It's okay. But let's ask GM Quad himself. Why did you trade for Joe and Cece?
Well, Brian and I are in our prime, and we are in win now mode. We don't have the time or resources to develop rookies.
Don't you think that may be a little risky? Joe and Cece have been littered with injuries for the past few years.
I believe in Joe and Cece, and believe they will be healthy and reliable for the foreseeable future.
Thank you for your time, GM Quad. Let's head back to the stage for the third pick of the draft.
I have a trade to announce. Ngan Si has traded the third pick of the draft to Ngan Thieu for Christopher Pham.
Whoa! The Philadelphia
Ngan Thieu,
76ers select Jalil
Olivia
Okafor
Nguyen,
from Duke
Rosemead.
University.
It looks like Thieu ended up with Olivia after all, but why would Nia trade away their pick?
My guess is that John just needed another guy to be on his team.
Alright. And now, Ngan O is on the clock for the fourth pick of the draft. But first, let's take a look at the roster board. The field has completely changed. Thieu now is stacked with veterans, and Thieu is stacked with youth.
But now back to Commissioner for the final pick in the draft.
With the fourth pick in the 2015
NAPA.
NBA draft, the New York
Ngan
Knicks
Onyi,
select
Monica
Kristaps
Nguyen,
Porzingis from
Chino
Liepaja,
Hills.
Latvia.
Monica is a great prospect, but for this year she's recovering from her injuries. She will be limited to several games a month due to testing at Irvine facilities.
This just in.
In a Ngan Hip C practice session, Joe and Cece bumped knees into each other and tore their ACLs. They will be out indefinitely.
No! Please, sir, we're on national television. Have some dignity. What?
Well, that wraps it up for the 2015 draft. What are your predictions for the 4 teams?
Well, it looks like O and Nia will be in the finals again, but this time it'll be closer for sure due to the PlayStation 4 on Nia's team. Thieu looks to be a future dynasty with all the raw talent they have. And of course, Hip is utterly screwed.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you again next year.
Alright, get down, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
The countdown!
Don't worry. You can cut it later. That's what I'm trying to do. Come on.
I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of